if you haven't already watched the series of cat videos, I would suggest you go and do those first, because that shows you the workflow. And the same actually applies to the dog, all the same rules apply. I've got quite a big dog skull here, and one of the questions we're often asked is, this DR sensor, will it be big enough to image this large canine here? And the answer is yes, it is quick and easy to do imaging on a dog, you just need to know how to do it. So say I wanted to image this canine, obviously I'm not so interested in the crown because I can see that bit. What I'm interested in is here. So if the dog's got a swelling here and you're wondering whether it's maybe an abscess here or on the premolar, there's, if you instead of putting the sensor in so that the tip of the canine is resting on it, you wouldn't do like that. You'd visualise where the apex is and you put the sensor in further so that the sensor is over the apex of that. See if I can rest that on its own jaw, save it falling. Right, okay, so I'm interested in this bit here. I'm not interested in this bit here. So I'm going to now change my Nomad so that it's a large dog. And I'm going to fire. If I fire about this angle, then you'll see what I capture. So you see there, it wasn't quite 90 degrees, more like sort of 70 degrees maybe. And what you see there is the tip of the canine here and the apex of the premolar. Now you might look at this and think this is a very strange image to take, but actually if you had an abscess here, it would show you very clearly which tooth it's on. So if that's what you're trying to find out, that shot is in itself fine. Now if you wanted more of an image of the canine itself, then what you do there is just pull the sensor out a little bit so that it is over more of the canine. It's all about, you know, obviously what's going to capture is what the sensor is on. So I now go at about 50 degrees here. So like on the cat, you know, we're about 45, 50 degrees. I'm about this angle. So if I want to look at the periodontal ligament around that canine, this is how I do that. So the first image was to show you where an abscess might be. The second one is more showing you the periodontal ligament around the canine. Do you see? So you can take the sensor forward and backwards to actually see what you need to see, and it also shows you the root of the tooth next door. Now say you wanted to image one of the molars, where you do that is you're putting the sensor in so that the front edge of the sensor rests on the crown of the tooth. The back edge of the sensor rests on the palate like that. So I know you'd probably have a large dog in lateral recumbency rather than sternal, but the same thing applies, just everything goes over by 90 degrees. So on this one, if I wanted to get a nice image of that tooth, I'm going to go at about 45, 50 degrees. There we are. So depending on what you're trying to image, do you see that's not particularly foreshortened, it's not too lengthy, the size of the tooth is about as it is, and you can see the periodontal ligament. So depending on what you're aiming at, if you want to see if you've got a retained root or anything, that kind of view.